Recording in progress.
Okay, in today's presentation, we are going to talk about pragmatics. Next. Before we moving on to the material, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Loputuan India Apsari.
My name is Nabila Maharani.
My name is Indah Amalia.
And my name is Niputu Eka Indah Tiari.
Okay, on today's pragmatics material, we are going to talk about pronouns and other deictic words, implicature, and presupposition. Next. Okay, on the material, what is pragmatics will be discussed by my friend.
Okay, for the first material, I will explain about what is pragmatics. So the study of extra truth conditional meaning is pragmatics. So basically, pragmatics is the study of meaning in language and in a particular context. Next. Before we're going to the next material, we need to worry about what is pragmatics.
Pragmatics was considered to be one of the three branches of semiotics. However, in modern linguistics, pragmatics is a term applied to the study of language from the user's point of view. Pragmatics is about the choices in language use one makes, the constraints one faces in using language in social interaction, and the effects one's use of language has on the other participants during communication. Pragmatics is an area that is somewhere in between semantics, sociolinguistics, and the context outside language. That is the extra-linguistic context. It is not always easy to draw a line between these different domains, though. We had linguistic competence in Chomsky's model of language. Here, you can add to that pragmatic competence. In other words, linguistic competence alone is not enough to use or understand language. You need pragmatic competence as well, because pragmatic competence is your ability to deal with formally encoded aspects of context in the structure of language in question. There are certain terms used in pragmatics. For example, there's a term called pragmatic particles, which explains the use of words such as I mean, sort of. These words are commonly used in speech and control the pragmatic nature of linguistic interaction. When you're walking on the street, you're going into the subway, and a homeless person asks you, "Do you have any spare change?" You don't interpret that as a technical question about what you actually have in your pocket. You don't interpret it as a fiduciary inquiry. You interpret it as a request for money on the part of the homeless person. And the way you understand this sentence, which is the meaning he intends to convey using that sentence, is possible because of pragmatics. You know this is a homeless person, you know about his standing in society and in the broader world, and then when he says that to you, you interpret it as a request. Such things can be explained only using pragmatics.
Okay, after we watch and try to understand about what is pragmatics, I will explain about pronoun and deictic words. So deictic is words that receive part of their meaning via context and the orientation of the speaker. In other words, deictic words are words that rely on the context of the speaker and the listener to determine their meaning. They are typically used to point to or refer to entities in relation to the speaker's location in time and space. So deictic words include pronouns, which are she, it, and I, and then demonstratives, which are this and that, and then adverbs of place, which are here, there, now, and today, and then prepositions, which are behind and before. And the last is complex expressions involving such words, like those towers over there. Okay, for the next material will be explained by my friend.
Okay, thank you. I will continue. The next material is pronouns and situational context. So, situational context often takes the form of a gesture, like pointing or nodding, as in he went that way, or who is that next man? Similarly, next week has a different reference when you're today than a month from today. If you found an undead notice announcing a big sale next week, you would not know whether the sale had already taken place. The next is pronouns and linguistics context. There are two different ways in which the reference of a pronoun can be resolved by the linguistic context. The first is sentence internal, and the second is sentence external. So I will explain about the first is sentence internal. Sentence internal context refers to the information present within the same sentence that help determine the referent of a pronoun. The context includes elements such as noun phrases, or clauses that predicates or followed by pronoun. The second is sentence external context. Sentence external context refers to the information provided outside the current sentence that aids in resolve the reference of pronoun. For example, the first is John bought a new car. It is red. In the sentence, the pronoun it refers to the previous mentioned noun, car, allowing the reader or listener to understand that the car is red. The second sentence is Sarah went to the store. She bought groceries. Here, the pronoun she refers to the person mentioned in the previous sentence, Sarah, indicating the bought groceries. So I have a video about linguistic context.
Have you seen the new chair? I need the chair now.
Hello. I'm the new chair. I heard you wanted to speak to me. How can I help you?
I asked for the chair because I have someone in this office who needs to sit down.
I'm not that kind of chair.
So the meaning of context in the video is the man with his phone actually won the real chair, not a chairman. So the next material will be explained by my friend.
Okay, so the next material is implicature. So, implicature is the action of implying a meaning beyond the literal sense of what is explicitly stated. Okay, next we have an example on what is implicature for further examination on what is implicature. Okay, in here we have the example. Let's take a look at number 8. So Sue asked Bill, "Does Mary have a boyfriend?" And Bill said, "She's been driving to Santa Barbara every weekend." So the message implies here that Mary here already have a boyfriend. So if we take a look at it in a literal context, in this sentence, Bill here doesn't really answer Sue's question, "Does Mary have a boyfriend?" But instead, Bill said she's been driving to Santa Barbara every weekend, which doesn't make sense. But the message here implies that Mary already have a boyfriend. That's why she's been driving to Santa Barbara every weekend. So the message implies here that Mary's boyfriend is from Santa Barbara. So that's why she's been driving to Santa Barbara every weekend. Let's take a look at number 9. John asked Jane, "Do you know how to change a tire?" And Jane said, "I know how to call a tow truck." So the context or the message implied here is that Jane cannot change a tire. That's why Jane can call a tow truck instead. And let's take a look at number 10. Dana asked Jamie, "Do this slack make my butt look big?" And Jamie said, "You look great in chartreuse." But the message implies here that Jamie doesn't want to sound rude to Dana by saying that does look big in the slack. So that's why Jamie used another word instead. So that is implicature. The next material is presupposition, which will be explained by my friend.
Okay, thank you for the time. I will continue the material. The next material is presuppositions. Situations that must accurate are called presuppositions. Presuppositions is concept in pragmatics that refers to the assumptions or belief that speakers make about what their listeners already know or assume to be true. Presuppositions are implicit in nature and often play a crucial role in communications, influencing the meaning and interpretations of utterance. I cannot. Here we have a video for more explanations about presuppositions.
Hello everybody, my name is Sarah. Are you interested in the topic presupposition and entailment? No problem, I'm going to explain it to you. First of all, the presupposition and entailment are subfields of pragmatics. Presupposition is something the speaker assumes to be the case prior to making an utterance. An example for presupposition is that Sarah's brother Tom, you can see him here, ate 3 chocolate bars. So we presuppose that a person called Sarah exists. She has a brother, she has only one brother, and he likes sweets. Another term that can be associated with presupposition is the constancy under negation. This simply means that a presupposition of a statement remains constant even when the statement is negated. I also have an example for this to show you what I mean. Tom regrets that he ate all 3 chocolate bars before dinner. Tom does not regret that he ate all 3 chocolate bars before dinner. So the presupposition for both statements is that Tom ate 3 chocolate bars before dinner.
There are 6 types of presupposition. The first one is called existential presupposition, which is present in any definite noun phrase. An example would be, the boy next door has a new car. We presuppose a boy next door exists. The second type is factive presupposition. An example of factive presupposition is, I regret leaving the party. I presuppose that I left a party, which is the truth of the information that is stated after the verb regret. Other verbs with factive presuppositions are now, realize, regret, be aware, ought, and glad. Let's go on with the next one, which is lexical presupposition. The use of one form with its asserted meaning is conventionally interpreted with the presupposition that another non-asserted meaning is understood. This can be seen in the following example. Mary stopped skating at weekends. We presuppose that Mary used to skate at weekends. The use of a structure which treats information as presupposed and is accepted as true by the listener are, for example, WH questions. This kind of presupposition is called structural presupposition. When we ask, "When did she die?" we presuppose that the information after the question is necessarily true. So, she died.
A non-factive presupposition is assumed not to be true. Verbs like dream, imagine, or pretend identify a non-factive presupposition. The example is, I dreamed that I was famous, but I was not famous. The last type of presupposition is called counterfactual presupposition. That means what is presupposed is contrary to facts. For example, if you were happy, you would have smiled. However, at the time of utterance, this is not true. You are not happy. But what about the projection problem? The projection problem is the problem of the presupposition of a simple structure not surviving when part of a more complex structure.
I didn't realize that the tiger is a policeman.
So we presuppose that a tiger is a policeman.
The tiger isn't a policeman. We know that now, because he is a burglar.
So the presupposition that the tiger is a policeman is destroyed, because we know now that he's a burglar. A simple explanation for the fact that the presupposition doesn't project is that they are destroyed entailments. Before we will continue, I have to explain what is meant by entailment. Entailment is something that logically follows from what
Okay, after we watch the video about presuppositions, here we have a research about pragmatics. Next. And the next is why we study pragmatics. We learn pragmatics because it is an essential aspect of effective communications. Pragmatic refers to the study of how language is used in social contexts and how meaning is conveyed beyond the literal interpretations of words. It involves understanding the intent, meaning of message, taking into account factors such as the speaker's intentions, the context of the communications, and the shared knowledge between the speakers and the listener. And these are the references.
Okay, that is it for our presentation today about pragmatics. We apologize if there are any mistakes that we made. Thank you.